What's up, everybody?
Hey,
Welcome to the show today. It's going to be a great show. We're talking all about maturity, and we're learning.
Jay,
okay, that's
this
not
doesn't work. They can't hear what we're saying when we're both talking over each other.
All right. Well, you go then.
No, you're good. You go.
No, it's fine. I really wasn't saying much anyway, so Alexis, take it over. You got it.
Okay. It's been an awesome time so far figuring out with you what it means to be mature. And you can boil it down
to this.
Mature
people think about others first. Mature people are humble and they make wise decisions and they stick things out when they get tough.
Okay.
Okay, what?
You know, what you said is right. You just kind of, jumped right in the middle as I was about to say it.
Yeah, my bad. I was just kind of excited about it.
I saw that. Well, good thing we're talking about another sign of maturity today.
Ooh, what is it? Tell me. Come on, let me know.
Listening!
Oh, well, I mean, I was listening, but also not really. I wasn't being a good listener because I wanted to say it myself.
It's all good, Jay. I mean, I get it. Listening, it takes practice for all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so bad at it. Okay, this one time in school, I was so excited for recess that in the class before, English, I didn't really pay attention to what my teacher had to say because my mind was already somewhere else, recess. I was so excited about recess that I completely missed the teacher telling us to study for this upcoming exam.
Ooh, so what happened?
Well, I think you all can guess what happened. I got caught off guard by the test. I, of course, didn't study, and I did not do so well.
Alexis, that's rough.
But guess what?
What?
It never happened again. I learned how to be a better listener that day.
You know, we should look at the story of Jesus growing up again today. Because when he was a child, he hung out at the temple to listen to what the teachers had to say about God. He wanted to learn more, and it said he asked good questions.
That's right. We can learn so much from that story. So today, we all will hopefully learn something valuable. Not only how to be better listeners with other people, but also how we can better listen to God. So our main point for today is I can be mature when I listen to God's voice.
That's great. But let me ask you guys, how can we be better listeners, and how can we listen to God's voice?
Listening is one of the easiest things you'll ever do, but it's also one of the hardest. You see, it doesn't take much energy to hear things. It just kind of happens. But a good listener hears things and tries to understand them. This is called active listening. This is very important to practice, not only for our interactions with people, but also for our relationship with God. Knowing how to listen well is a sign of maturity. In James 1:19, James tells us as followers of Jesus, "Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger." But let's be honest. Too often, the opposite is true for us. We are slow to hear, quick to speak, and quick to anger. Learning to listen won't happen overnight, just like learning to play an instrument or learning to play a sport. It takes time. Good listening is a skill that Jesus wants us to practice. Let's look at a few scenarios of how we can practice listening.
So Catherine, the other day, I take my dog Willow to the dog park. It was a beautiful day, we were having so much fun, and I throw her the Frisbee and she just won't catch it. Catherine?
I'm sorry, what was your cat's name again? So here's the thing, Catherine really wasn't listening. In fact, she was on her phone the entire time. Let's try this again.
So the other day, it was a beautiful day. I took my dog Willow to the dog park. We were having a good time. I throw her the Frisbee and she just won't catch it. She was like, "No girl, not happening today."
Oh man, do you think it was just too windy? Now that was so much better. You see, how we pay attention to our friends is a reflection of our relationship with God. If we can't even listen to our friends, how can you expect to hear the voice of God?
Practicing our active listening skills with others will help us pay attention to what God is trying to communicate to us. It will help us get to know God better as we learn to follow His voice.
Hey everybody, welcome to Challenge Time.
Welcome to Challenge Time. Ted, this is what we're doing.
Okay, so today we're gonna do a challenge that I actually invented.
Okay.
And it's called the bubbly test. So, the bubbly test. Here's what you do. You try the bubbly waters.
Okay.
Some people call them sparkling. We're gonna be
All right.
rating these drinks on a scale of
1 to
1 to
100.
bubble.
The 5. Bubble's
Yep,
5.
That's
okay.
good. That's good. Okay. So
Extreme
we're gonna-
bubble is 5.
So we're gonna crack these open. Which one should we start with?
I'm gonna start with that one. The polar.
Polar seltzer. Okay.
Color.
Best part, is cracking these open.
Okay. Ooh.
That's pretty good.
It
smells like nothing.
I'm gonna give it a 3.
Hold on. That feels pretty neutral. I'm gonna put it right in the middle.
Okay. I wanna do the bubbly. Because it has to be
Bubbly,
the most
yeah.
bubbly.
That does feel-
because
it's high
bubbly.
expectations.
Here we go. I'm gonna go first. Oh, that was good. All right. Oh, this smells amazing.
Getting
Go ahead.
not a lot of bubbles.
It's just not a lot of, it is not bubbly at all.
Okay.
I'm gonna rank this, I'm gonna give it a 1 on bubble
Okay.
rating.
Yeah.
Not bubbly at
Yeah.
all. So it's gonna go here
Okay.
to 1 for me. I wanna do the big one.
All right.
That's smooth.
They went into my nose.
The bubbles?
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be the most bubbly.
Smells good.
That's really good.
Not a lot of
But
bubbles.
not a lot of bubbles. I'm gonna put it here.
It's definitely more bubbles than the last one.
This is called
Classic LaCroix.
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 LaCroix. Most bubbly. LaCroix, Polar, Topo Chico, and bubbly.
I'm gonna go Topo Chico, LaCroix,
LaCroix.
Polar, and bubbly.
Topo Chico, if I had to give it, if we wasn't doing the bubbly test, this would be my favorite.
2 at once, very bubbly.
Okay?
It's a little messy.
Why don't you do this?
Worth it though. This concludes the bubbly test.
The bubbly experience,
The bubbly
it was
test.
really great, but we decided that if you put them all together, that is the bubbliest of them all. We had a great time.
Yes, we did.
We'll see you next time.
Cheers. I'm going again.
Ooh, that was crisp. That kind of hurt.
Stories of the Bible. God speaks to Samuel. This is Samuel.
Hi.
Samuel was the son of Hannah.
Hey, Samuel.
Hannah prayed for God to give her a son, and God did. So Hannah gave Samuel back to God,
See you, Samuel. Bye, Mom.
and Samuel grew up in the temple serving under Eli, the priest.
Hi, Eli.
As Samuel grew up, he learned how to serve God from Eli. Samuel lived in the house of God, but he did not know God or what God's voice sounded like. In those days, messages from God were rare. But one night after Eli had gone to bed, Samuel was sleeping in the tabernacle when suddenly God called out, "Samuel!"
Huh?
Samuel got up and ran to Eli and said, "Did you call me?"
Not me.
Eli said, "I didn't call you. Go back to bed." So Samuel did. Then God called out again, "Samuel!"
Huh?
And again Samuel got up and ran to Eli asking, "Did you call me?"
Not me.
Eli said, "I didn't call you. Go back to bed." So Samuel did. God called Samuel for a third time, "Samuel!" And Samuel went to Eli yet again. After 3 times, Eli realized that God was trying to speak to Samuel. So Eli taught Samuel to say, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening."
Okay.
Samuel went back to bed, and God came and called as before, "Samuel, Samuel!" And Samuel said, "Speak, your servant is listening." God told him many things about what would happen to Israel. As Samuel grew up, God was with him, and everything God spoke through Samuel came true. Samuel was seen as a great prophet of God because he could hear the voice of God, and he listened when God spoke to him.
Wow, God spoke to Samuel in his dream.
So cool. But at first, he thought it was Eli talking to him.
True, think about this. So like Samuel was hearing a word from God, but he thought it was Eli. So he didn't even know it was from God. And Eli said, hey man, that's not me. That's God speaking to you. And you should respond with, speak, Lord, your servant is listening.
Yeah, he had to tune into God. He had to pay attention to what he wanted to say to him. He had to make himself available for God to speak.
I like that. He had to make himself available to listen. Like in our examples earlier, active listening requires us to focus on what someone is saying. We must be patient and turn off the distractions around us so we can give them our undivided attention.
That's right, and it's the same with God. Now, God may or may not speak to you in your dream.
Yeah.
There are so many other ways he communicates with us.
What are some of those ways?
Well, when we follow Jesus, he gives us his spirit to help us. He is always with us and guides us to make good decisions.
So God can talk to us through his spirit?
Yeah, the Bible says as Christians, the Spirit of God lives inside of us.
That's amazing.
And so through his Spirit, God will communicate to us when we read the Bible. He will point out things that can transform our hearts. He will correct things in us.
He will help us bear good fruit. That's amazing.
Yeah, and God may also speak as you pray to him, or as you walk around, or maybe when you're with your friends.
The point is, God always wants to talk to you because he wants to be in relationship with you.
That's it. It's just up to us to get to know him and pay attention to his voice. You know, Samuel was a good and obedient kid. He obeyed Eli. He served God,
Yeah.
but it says that he did not yet know God.
Oh, I get it. It wasn't until Samuel realized that it was actually God speaking to him that he came to know who God is.
And that's what it's all about for us. Yes, doing the right thing is good and important, but what Jesus wants is for us to get to know him personally. We obey him because we know him.
And it's kind of like how I know you personally because we speak, so all of us can know Jesus on a personal level.
Exactly. And just like listening to others, listening to God takes practice.
Yeah, it's a practice we all can learn, and it will help us become more mature.
You may not always hear him at first,
And it may not always be a loud voice.
but when you make yourself available to him, you will notice things, maybe a sign to help you make the right decision,
Or a push to get you out of a tough situation.
or a task that you know you should be doing. And with confidence, you'll say, yeah, that was Jesus.
You know when it's him. So remember, I can be mature when I listen to God's voice.
That's awesome. It's such a great way to wrap it up. We'll pick it back up next time.
All right, see you guys then.
Bye.
Bye.